In Shattered Royalty's realm, the onslaught arrived unannounced. Projectiles shrieked through Vascara's nocturnal expanse, their incandescent trails slicing the gloom before detonating in sapphire and ivory conflagrations. Dr. Cade Ramsey remained unmoved. After half a decade on this forsaken satellite, volatile precipitation was as routine as dawn. "Hand me the laser scalpel," he murmured, his gaze fixed on the gaping thoracic trauma of the soldier before him. The Catherine Trooper's trio of hearts fluttered weakly, each rhythmically discordant with the others. "Sir, immediate evacuation required. Direct impact on the east wing." The medic's voice trembled as the clinic convulsed. Cade, unfazed, reached for his tools. "This anastomosis demands completion before this young man exsanguinates. Scalpel, now." He executed the final incision with unwavering precision, ignoring the building's violent tremors. As the lights failed, replaced by the stark emergency glow, Cade declared, "Perfectly timed." The soldier stabilized, unconscious. "Move him to recovery," Cade commanded, shedding his blood-soaked gloves. Gloved hands grabbed a sterilizer, but the medic paused. "Cade, there's a critical situation in the West Wing. They urgently need you, and they're specifically requesting your expertise." Cade sighed, his shoulders slumping, releasing the pent-up strain from the grueling 4-hour surgery. "What makes this case so different?" The medic's voice lowered. "It's Princess Talri." Cade instantly tensed. "Princess Talri is here. Why wasn't I informed the moment she arrived?" "Imperial decree," the medic replied grimly. 17 healers have already perished attempting to save her. They believe it's a potent poison targeting her heart and her delegation. Arrived amidst the relentless barrage, Cade's prowess as a combat surgeon had become renowned across 3 star systems, yet he never envisioned it extending to the illustrious royal court of the Catherine Empire, the very empire whose internecine conflict had reduced Vascara to an inferno of ceaseless war. The same princess whose succession squabble ignited the devastating conflict, resulting in thousands of daily casualties. Another explosion reverberated closer. The clinic shuddered as ceiling panels plunged down the hallway. "Proceed," Cade instructed, already advancing. Ward C had been irrevocably changed. Royal guards adorned in shimmering defensive barriers encircled a makeshift medical enclosure. Within, bathed in the glow of diagnostic instruments, reposed a fragile form, their azure skin subtly luminescent. A doctor in complex surgical garments intercepted CAD. "Unauthorized access. Clearance denied." A faint voice echoed from the pod. The esteemed Royal Guard Captain Voss, as his emblem confirmed, yielded begrudgingly. 17 medics, human. 17 top-tier healers, now deceased. Moments after initiating treatment, their hearts abruptly ceased functioning. Kate advanced warily. Princess Talri's gaze was half-closed, her respiration faint. The monitoring instruments presented incomprehensible data, heart rates surging erratically in all 3 chambers, toxin concentrations spiking and diminishing in unprecedented sequences. "What befell her?" Kate queried, scrutinizing the displays. "That is inconsequential," retorted the Catherine healer, who had attempted to impede him. "Either offer assistance or depart." Met an untimely demise, becoming the 18th soul claimed by this perilous endeavor. Cade arched an eyebrow, remarking, "Empathy isn't exactly your forte, is it?" He turned towards the princess, adding, "Your Highness, allow me to conduct an assessment." Her barely perceptible nod granted consent. As Cade approached, he discerned the undeniable indicators of widespread toxification. The subtle network of shadowed veins beneath her porcelain skin, and the eerie luminescence emanating from her thoracic region. Just as he reached for his diagnostic instrument, a deafening blast reverberated through the clinic, plunging the ward into impenetrable darkness. In that fleeting darkness, the emergency systems faltered, but instinct surged forth. Cade's hand instinctively flew out, pressing with unwavering resolve against the princess's breastbone, directly over her core heart. It was a combat medic's move. Immediate pressure to secure a severe cardiac wound. A wave of azure light then exploded from beneath his palm, illuminating the chamber with an otherworldly glow. The princess shuddered, her body arching as Cade's touch ignited a breathtaking luminosity. At their contact point, gossamer threads of luminescence intertwined, pulsing in perfect harmony with their heartbeats. "Unthinkable," breathed the Catherine healer as the emergency lights flickered back on, illuminating the stunned faces of the royal court. The monitoring equipment displayed Princess Tal's vital signs improving, toxin levels declining. Cade attempted to withdraw his hand, but the princess seized his wrist with unexpected force. "Stay," she uttered, her eyes now wide and focused on him. "You're the one who heals with a touch." Before Cade could react, Captain Voss snapped orders, and royal guards encircled him. "Weapons primed. The princess's swift return to the capital is paramount," Voss asserted. "The human healer accompanies us." "My patience wanes," Cade countered. "Your clinic is besieged by desperate souls," Voss retorted, cutting him off. "Intelligence suggests a targeted assault. Someone is aware of the princess's presence." As if to validate his pronouncement, a cascade of explosions tore through the sky above. Dr. Ramsay Telry, her voice now imbued with renewed strength, stated, "My empire requires your aid. I require your aid." Cade surveyed his ravaged clinic, his gaze lingering on the wounded soldiers who faced imminent abandonment, before meeting the princess's resolute stare. Princess eyes mirrored not entitlement, but palpable fear. "Fine," he yielded amidst explosions. "Medical kits coming." Minutes later, aboard Imperial transport, her stretcher near, Cade saw his clinic, his home for 5 years, vanish in smoke. Capital planet Catherine emerged, atmosphere yielding to the royal vessel. Cade had merely seen. It, in propaganda, broadcasts a world of living architecture where buildings blossomed instead of being built, where tech and nature intertwined seamlessly. The transport glided toward a colossal structure that commanded the city's heart, the Imperial Palace, its towers spiraling like the limbs of a titanic sea beast glowing with the same radiant life he'd witnessed within the princess. "Welcome to your new abode, human," Captain Voss stated with unexpected gentleness, "for the duration of Her Highness's need." The palace guards ushered Cade through breathing hallways. The walls pulsed gently as if sentient. Upon arrival, the princess vanished, leaving Cade to shadow the silent escort. They stopped at lavish living quarters, furniture sprouting organically from the floors and walls. Inside, a poised woman, Catherine, awaited. "This is Mira," Captain Voss announced, "the Chief Imperial Healer, ready to assist. We'll beckon you forth upon the culmination of preparations." "Preparations for what, exactly?" Kay pressed, her voice laced with urgency. Voss's countenance, etched with those unmistakable Catherine hallmarks, the unyielding brow and the gill-like respiratory slits, remained an inscrutable mask. For your grand debut before the court, naturally. The touch healer extraordinaire deserves a proper unveiling. With a subtle flourish, he indicated a doorway. Suitable raiment awaits within. I highly recommend utilizing the intervening time for rest, for tomorrow will undoubtedly test your mettle. And with that pronouncement, he exited, leaving Cade alone with the stoic mirror, which executed a silent bow before receding into the shadows of the chamber. Kate commenced her exploration. His gilded cage, however resplendent, featured windows, if translucent living walls qualified, presenting a breathtaking panorama of the sprawling capital, its spires and domes throbbing with inner luminescence, interconnected by delicate bridges dancing in the soft wind. His medical kit, perched upon a table seemingly sprouted from the floor, underwent a swift inspection. All appeared secure, although certain specialized instruments demanded recalibration for Catherine, rendering them temporarily inert. Physiological fatigue surged, an unexpected tidal wave, considering it had been nearly 40 harrowing hours since he last found solace in slumber. The peculiar bed, a moss-filled hollow etched into the floor, beckoned with an odd allure, despite its utterly foreign architecture. "I must unravel the mystery of the princess's affliction," he declared, his voice cutting through the silence, not anticipating a reply from the stoic mirror. Yet astonishingly, she materialized, delicately placing a slender crystalline rod beside his medical instruments. With a single tap, holographic text bloomed in the air, Catherine's medical glyphs, a mesmerizing dance of symbols restructuring before his very eyes, immersed themselves in the plight of English Princess Toll. The classified imperial document revealed Mira's continued withdrawal, her face an enigma. Cade dedicated hours to scrutinizing the document, which offered only fragmented details about the 17 healers who perished trying to cure the princess. Each suffered an identical fate, cardiac arrest moments after beginning treatment. The toxin was only nebulously identified, its composition deemed classified even within this purportedly top-secret file. By morning, or what resembled morning on this eternally twilight planet, Cade, utterly baffled rather than illuminated, one certainty pierced through. He should be deceased. The same force that extinguished the others should have consumed him upon contact with Tal's chest. Yet he had miraculously, though perhaps fleetingly, nullified the venom. A contingent arrived, guiding him toward the imperial medical sanctums. The corridors throbbed with activity, filled with courtiers brazenly scrutinizing the human amidst them. Murmurs trailed him like phantoms. The healer by touch. A human? Inconceivable. The prophecy never defined the species. The medical chamber was an expansive, cathedral-esque domain where cutting-edge technology, biology seamlessly merged with medical technology. Organic implants pulsed with ethereal light as Princess Tali rested upon a dais, her chest subtly exposed, revealing an intricate network of vessels surrounding her hearts. Cade observed Catherine adorned in elaborate robes. Her gills darkened her gaze, revealing profound wisdom. "The humans here," he declared, his voice a predator's chill, not glancing from his patient. "I am Corain, healer, chief imperial physician, and guardian of the royal bloodline, a legacy of 7 generations." Kate approached, carefully. "Dr. Cade Ramsey, I'm told the princess is afflicted with cardiac poisoning." Corain's laugh was a parched, delicate sound. "How delightfully naive the princess is. She undergoes a hallowed rite of passage, one that has consumed countless others. Your interruption is utterly without precedent." "I rescued her," Cade retorted. Did you truly? Corain's gaze lifted, eyes hardening. Or did you simply forestall destiny, entwining your fate with hers? 17 healers, all human, perished. Yet you persist. For now. The princess stirred slightly. Corain, reveal what he must witness. With palpable reluctance, the chief healer activated a hovering holographic display. Talri's bared chest offered a glimpse into her bloodstream, a microscopic spectacle of crystalline formations throbbing with the same azure light Cade witnessed before, the royal venom. Corain spoke, his tone implying he was entrusting a child with classified intelligence. Extracted from the Imperial Seraphim, beings so scarce they appear once a century, the venom either fortifies royal flesh or annihilates it completely. And the 17 healers? Cade inquired. Volunteers, Tri breathed, her gaze locking with his. They grasped the stakes. Venom it craves connection, those deemed unsuitable. Endure cardiac rejection. The toxin departs my essence and invades theirs. Cade assimilated this intelligence with mounting dread. You're suggesting this is intentional, a grotesque suitability assessment employing sentient beings. It is our tradition, Corain stated nonchalantly. For eons, the rightful heir has been designated via heart compatibility. The sovereign heart finds its match. And now the venom's potency is abated due to my actions, Cade inquired. Momentarily, Corain clarified. The bond requires consummation within the succession ritual. Then you absolutely must stay close to Her Highness, or the venom will reclaim its hold. Cade glanced down at his hands, recalling the odd bond he'd sensed touching Talri's chest. And if I decline this ceremony? Corain's smile lacked warmth. Then both you and the princess perish. The venom transcends politics. Once initiated, the process is irreversible. When's the ceremony? 3 imperial cycles, Talri responded. Roughly weeks in your terms, Corain concluded. You will assimilate our methods, delve into Catherine's unique physiology, and aspire to become an imperial healer, presuming you endure. He gestured towards the daunting medical array. Your tutelage commences forthwith. As Corinne launched into a dense, intentionally bewildering discourse on Catherine's cardiovascular intricacies, Cade detected an anomaly. A faint alteration in the readings after the chief healer recalibrated a monitor, indicating a subtly elevated heart rate compared to Cade's prior observation. Simultaneously, from the periphery of his sight, he discerned the silent mirror scrutinizing him with unwavering intensity, her gaze piercing, eyes flicking knowingly between him and the changed display. Something was deeply amiss at the core of the Catherine Empire, and Cade sensed a darkness extending beyond a poisoned princess. The Court of Shadows knew perpetual twilight reigned in the Catherine capital. The bioluminescent city softened to a subtle dusk, buildings and bridges throbbing with a tender pulse like the Empire's shared heartbeat. Cade leaned against his window frame, observing the swaying lights with both wonder and a growing disquiet. 3 days had elapsed since his sudden departure, marked by relentless study under Corain's intense scrutiny and burgeoning unease. Instrument readings are inconsistent with the princess's true state, he murmured, meticulously organizing handwritten notes, documents he valued more than any potentially compromised Catherine tech. Corain was manipulating data, but to what end? Behind him, Mira glided silently, setting out the evening meal on a table materialized from the floor that morning. She remained ever silent, but Cade had swiftly discerned she possessed depths beyond servitude. her observant gaze missed nothing. Twice, she'd deftly rectified his work, unnoticed by Corain. "Enlighten me," Kate implored. "Anything about the core truth?" Mira's face, as always, remained unreadable, yet she meticulously arranged his meal, the Catherine delicacies forming a recognizable pattern. Princess Tal's 3 hearts, subtly askew, radiating with a subtle, ethereal glow, a caution or guidance. A sudden rap shattered his concentration. Captain Voss strode in without pause, his armor shimmering in the dim light. "The princess urgently requires your attention," he declared at once. "It's quite late," Kate demurred, though lateness held little weight on a world perpetually twilit. "Her state has shifted," Voss replied. Something in Voss's voice sparked dread in Cade. He seized his medical supplies and trailed the captain through halls bustling with unusual activity. Royal aides rushed by, their opulent gowns billowing. Murmuring voices, once a tempest, now lowered but remained insistent. "What on earth is unfolding?" Kate probed. "Politics, pure and simple," Voss responded, his tone grave. "The High Council has been summoned for an urgent assembly. Alliances are fracturing over the princess's frail state. Whispers abound, questioning her very capacity to reign should she require a human healer's touch." They entered Toll's chambers, teeming with officials and guards. Corain loomed by the princess's bedside, radiating an overblown air of grave concern that Cade found utterly contrived. "The human has finally graced us with their presence," the chief healer proclaimed. "Perhaps now we shall ascertain if yesterday's miracle was a stroke of luck or a genuine connection." Tulri rested upon a bioplatform that meticulously tracked her vital signs, her skin now sporting an ashen hue, and the bioluminescence within her chest pulsed erratically. "What in the world have you done to her?" Kay demanded, shoving forward, past a pair of counselors to reach her side. "I have rigorously upheld imperial medical protocols," Koran retorted icily. "The princess's condition ebbs and flows as the venom assays her true worth. This is customary." "This is far from customary," Cade exclaimed, having extensively studied Catherine physiology. He instantly recognized cardiac distress. He swiftly deployed his personal monitoring device, calibrated to evade Koran's manipulations, against Talri's chest. "Her tertiary heart is in critical fibrillation," he declared. "She requires instantaneous stabilization." "The time-honored remedies have been administered," Corain countered. "Only the touch." "The true healer's actions will shift things," Cade asserted, gently moving the elder healer. He placed his hand firmly on Tal's chest, recreating the clinic setting. Silence. No light, no bond, no reaction. Whispers filled the space. Cade noticed a brief, victorious look on Corin's face before she regained her composure. Perhaps the human's touch was just a fluke, someone speculated. Or, Corin hinted, the princess's destined healer is in another place. Cade remained detached, intently observing Talri. Her eyelids gently parted, her gaze locking onto his with a fiery intensity that caught him off guard. Then, he perceived her voice, not from her unmoving lips, but internally within his consciousness. "They've poisoned me. Corain, a secondary toxin, not the venom itself." Cade almost staggered back in disbelief. Telepathy wasn't listed in the Catherine's documented skills. Not telepathy, her voice echoed in his mind. A neural echo, a heart-mind connection, a byproduct of the venom bond they are unaware of. Maintaining a calm exterior, Cade subtly altered his posture, appearing to meticulously examine various areas on Try's chest. "What do—" he mentally cried out, yearning for her to hear him. "Blood filtration, left wrist port, bypass Corain systems." With a veteran's precision, Cade moved to her arm, locating the subtle access port concealed under a skin fold. "Standard Catherine anatomy," he noted, "allowing circulatory access sans needles." Raising his voice, he declared, "Peripheral circulation check needed," revealing a streamlined, powerful human blood filtration unit from his kit. Significantly detached from Corain's apparatus, the lead physician advanced. "That won't be typical protocol for human heart cases," Cade interjected. "Given the princess's favorable reaction to human-derived care previously, it warrants a trial before any further objections from Corain." Quickly, Cade linked his instrument to Talri's wrist port. The compact device sprang to life, extracting a trace of her luminous cerulean blood. In moments, his doubts solidified. The analysis revealed indicators of a tranquilizer compound, an unlisted component within Corain's registered therapies. "He's been concealing details." Me weak, Talri's voice resonated within him. "The coronation nears, and he dreads my ascension." "Her electrolytes are imbalanced," Kate declared professionally. "I'm initiating stabilization." Yet he discreetly administered a revitalizing agent, countering the tranquilizer. As the serum coursed through Talri, her eyes sharpened, and her chest radiated a vibrant luminescence. Cade, hand firmly on her core heart, found a profound, immediate connection. Azure light surged between them. The spectacle drew amazed breaths from the observing courtiers as the monitors displayed a remarkable phenomenon. All three hearts beat in perfect unison, vitality flooding back into her system. "The bond reestablishes itself," Voss noted, his hand instinctively edging closer to his weapon, keenly observing Corinne's reaction. The chief healer's countenance remained a study in detached professionalism, yet Cade discerned a cold calculation in his gaze. "Indeed," Corain remarked with practiced composure. "My concerns appear to have been unfounded. The human's touch, while erratic, is demonstrably efficacious." A wave of quiet murmuring rippled through the counselors as they began to retreat. Among themselves, Cade preserved his bond with Talri, sensing the intensifying, peculiar resonance. "Gratitude," her voice echoed within his thoughts. "What metamorphosis is unfolding within us?" he inquired mentally. "The venom forges a conduit between kindred systems. Your contact anchors this evolution, yet the conduit is bidirectional. I perceive your intellect, your recollections." Cade sensed an odd compression within his thoughts, akin to someone delicately sifting through his history. Glimpses of his earthly youth, his rigorous medical instruction, the brutal realities of battlefield surgery on Vascara, all rising to the forefront of his awareness. "And I perceive yours," he declared, startled. "Imprints of a regal upbringing, the immense burden of imperial destiny, the dread that permeated the poisoning ceremony. They danced within his perception like faded, fragmented memories." "The princess requires respite," he proclaimed. "Severing the link, and unyielding vigilance is paramount. I shall remain with her this eve." Corain vehemently protested. "Such an action is utterly inappropriate. Established royal customs strictly forbid it." Ignoring his words, Cade retorted, "Her very existence overrides protocol, unless you'd rather justify to the High Council the tragic demise of the 18th healer under your watch." The veiled threat lingered, heavy and palpable. At length, Corain conceded with a bow laced with thinly veiled menace. As you desire, human. However, Captain Voss and his contingent shall likewise remain to ensure all proprieties are observed. Following Corraine, the remaining officials then withdrew as Cade brought a chair beside Tal's bed. Voss stationed sentinels at the entrance, but stayed within earshot to monitor them. "You may speak without reservation," Telri announced, her voice regaining strength. "Voss's allegiance is to me, not the Council. What I detected in your blood was no mere coincidence," Cade revealed. "Corthane is intentionally deploying substances designed to debilitate you." Voss's countenance grew grim. "That constitutes treason, aligning seamlessly with my observations." Cade elaborated. The fabricated readings, the doctored data, the opportune crisis tonight, during my absence. Talri strained to rise. "Corraine was my father's trusted healer, serving the Imperial family faithfully for generations. This afforded him both the access and expertise to meddle." Cade emphasized, "The pivotal question is motive. What does he gain by perpetuating your frailty, or even orchestrating your demise?" Voss stated succinctly, "Power. The line of succession is contested. Princess Tal's cousin, Lord Deven, has asserted his claim to the throne, spearheading the military faction within the High Council." "And Corraine's allegiance," Kate inquired, "is ostensibly to the Imperial family," Telri responded. "Yet he and Driven harbor deep-seated, antiquated notions about the Empire's trajectory. My initiatives for peace with the human star systems would undoubtedly challenge those deeply ingrained traditions. The tragic fate of those 17 healers." Cade articulated thoughtfully, the puzzle pieces aligning. They weren't merely incompatible with the venom, were they? They were intentionally poisoned. Corraine ensured absolutely none could forge a link with you. Telri's gaze connected with his, the bioluminescence within intensifying. Throbbing with raw emotion, this venom ritual might be immemorial, its mechanics arcane, not fully grasped even by our most adept healers. If Corraine engineered a failsafe against rejection, he underestimated human adaptability, Cade concluded. My physiology diverged too greatly from his preparations. Voss cautioned, "You remain acutely vulnerable. Should Corraine perceive your unearthing of his perfidy, he will decisively eliminate you before the coronation." Cade recalled Silent Mirror's cryptic cautions. "I harbor doubts about trusting anyone within the palace, save for those assembled here." "Then," Voss declared, "we must meticulously advance." "The Ascension ritual brooks no delay," Talri asserted, her voice laced with urgency. "Our fate hinges on it. Within 3 weeks, I either ascend the throne, my healer by my side, or we both face utter annihilation." Cade pressed closer, his tone hushed. "Clarify the intricate nature of this bond. With each touch, this neural link intensifies. I perceive your emotions, glimpse echoes of your past." "It's intrinsic to Catherine's royal lineage," she elucidated. "Ruler and healer become extensions, deeply entwined. Your medical knowledge transforms into our shared dominion. My regal power now amplifies yours. Destined we are to harmonize heart and intellect, faithfully serving the Empire." Following the solemn rite, Talri's unwavering eyes confirmed, the bond crystallizes, irrevocably uniting you to the throne, and to me, for eternity. The profound implication landed on Cade with the force of a physical strike. Perhaps disclosing that detail beforehand might have been prudent, don't you think? A subtle smile graced her lips. Would such knowledge have altered your choice, Dr. Ramsey? His mind raced to his devastated clinic, the ceaseless conflict, the abandoned patients. If clueless, prioritizing survival outweighs pondering weighty philosophies, Voss stated practically. Corain scrutinizes your every action. A strategy is crucial. Cade concurred, brainstorming solutions. Comprehensive knowledge of Catherine's unaltered physiology is paramount, not Corain's deceitful data. Evidence of his manipulation is essential. Talry proposed, the Imperial Archives, housing authentic medical records, are ideal, but access is limited to elite healers. I can facilitate an entry. Ushered to the archives, Voss proposed, masking it as cultural enrichment for the human healer and Corinne's interference. Kate queried, Talry's countenance growing pensive. The venom coursing through me generates an exceptional energy imprint. Your touch, uniquely, seems to regulate it. If we could observe this imprint independent of Corinne's technology, I just might, Cade offered, retrieving his medical supplies, producing a small vial of metallic fluid. Nanobots, medical standard, calibrated for human physiology, though I can reconfigure them. To meticulously observe Catherine's physiological state, they could diligently trace the venom's progression and any extraneous substances Corain injected. Introducing unfamiliar technology into the princess's bloodstream would be deemed sacrilege by traditionalists, Voss cautioned. And allowing her demise? Cade retorted. Furthermore, discretion is paramount. Tolry presented her arm, revealing the wrist port. Proceed. As Cade primed the nanobots for introduction, a palpable neural link intensified between them, resonating with mutual resolve, unwavering faith, and subtly, a burgeoning emotion. Their destinies are now intertwined, he declared. This enables evidence collection, he clarified, deploying the nanites, but offers no defense against further manipulation. Tali, imbued with sudden resolve, countered, That's where you enter, a healer of profound touch. The nanobots infiltrated her system, emitting a soft cerulean luminescence mirroring her heart's bioluminescence. Via the neural link, Cade sensed their dispersal through her veins, an uncanny tide of miniature flows beneath her. Skin, patience now, he murmured. Observe and assimilate. Talry amplified, her gaze locking with his, an electrifying connection beyond biology. This palace guards mysteries predating the venom rite, secrets Corain would extinguish to safeguard. Then let's unveil them, Cade retorted, before he eradicates us. 3. Poison. Vengeance. The Imperial Archives ascended, a crystalline arboretum, each trunk a millennium of Catherine's lore etched in vibrant tissue, light cascading through the clear forms. Data streams through the intricate web of information branches, akin to sap coursing through a colossal tree. Cad navigated the slender corridors with precision, shadowing his reticent guide, Mirror. Captain Voss framed the excursion as an academic pursuit, yet Cad's mission held a greater significance. He sought the pristine royal venom ritual texts, unadulterated by Corinne's manipulation. Medical section, he whispered, consulting his translator. Catherine's language proved nuanced, its interpretations dancing with the bioluminescent rhythms, guiding him further into the profound archive forest, where crystal trunks stood ever more colossal and timeless. Mira paused before an immense edifice radiating an intense azure glow. Her hands danced with swift movements. She's signing, Cade discerned, his translator failing to interpret, yet the implication resonated clearly. "Beware. Are we under observation?" he whispered, Mira's head dipping subtly. "Affirmative." Then gestured skyward. Minute sentinel organisms adhered to the crystalline boughs, their multifaceted eyes perpetually scanning the vicinity. "Unveil the sovereign medical archives," Cade declared, projecting an air of scholarly pursuit. "My purpose is to comprehend Catherine's cardiovascular constitution, enabling me to better minister as Her Royal Highness's physician." Mira's hands danced across the surface, weaving another intricate pattern as she delved into the crystal trunk. Data cascaded down a digital pathway, converging into a comprehensible format on a pad she presented to him. Subtly, her fingers guided his attention to a hidden section of the archive, one beyond her direct reach. Cade gave a near-invisible nod, feigning meticulous note-taking while inching towards the area Mira had highlighted. When the surveillance entities momentarily shifted their gaze, he swiftly pressed his hand against the crystalline interface. The trunk acknowledged his unique imprint, or more precisely, the lingering echoes of royal lineage. With Try's touch, venom coursed through him, breaching restricted databanks. Ancient Catherine script texts flooded his pad, defying easy translation. Yet some verses blazed forth. The royal venom's 17th cycle demands flawless healer sovereign symmetry. Introducing foreign elements fractures the bond, ensuring mutual demise and the healer's eventual rejection. Their death must be revered, their sacrifice eternally remembered. Venom transfer is innate, not to be hastened or tampered with. Cad's doubts crystallized into conviction. Corraine hadn't just let those 17 healers perish. He'd orchestrated their demise via supplementary agents, the very same ones he now employed to enfeeble and control Try. But the motive? What benefit did the chief healer derive from manipulating the lineage? A faint sound drew his gaze. Mira was close, poised and watchful, executing a swift, slicing motion across her neck. Potential throat peril, and gestured towards the archive entry. Promptly, Cade secured the classified documents and resumed his permissible investigations. Shortly thereafter, a cohort of Catherine dignitaries materialized, spearhead by a commanding presence whose martial posture was self-evident, regardless of species. The human medic, the military. Catherine proclaimed his intonation, reverberating with dominance. "Examining our customs, how charming." Mira curtsied profoundly, retreating as the dignitaries drew near Lord Dreven. Kate registered identifying Talri's relative and antagonist from her recollections, transmitted via their neural interface. Meeting the princess's esteemed relative is a true honor. Driven's gills deepened, mirroring Catherine's blush. "You speak with remarkable audacity for an alien thrust into our most hallowed tradition." "I'm simply a physician aiding a patient," Cade responded calmly. "Are you Deven?" he pressed, looming over Cade, "or a human spy exploiting our vulnerability? The timing of your so-called miracle is suspiciously advantageous." "Advantageous to whom?" "I was seized from my clinic, told the princess will perish unless I partake in your venomous rite." Cad's forthrightness caused a stir among Draven's retinue, yet the Lord appeared entertained. "Healer Corraine cautions your disrespect for our customs," he remarked, "and I see his point." Kate noted, "Corraine has ample worries, perhaps including the succession's result." A glint of danger sparked in Draven's gaze. "Tread lightly, human. 17 healers perished serving the throne. An 18th is insignificant, save that I yet live," Cade retorted. Highlighted that, notwithstanding the defensive compounds dooming others, Driven's response was barely perceptible yet clear. A fleeting pause, a slight eye tightening. "Focus on your duties, Dr. Ramsey," he stated icily. "The coronation nears. The princesses and your lives hinge on compatibility, not your inquiries." Turning, he left, his retinue trailing him. Only after they vanished did Mira reappear, her face unreadable. As ever, her eyes conveyed a sharp warning. Cade swiftly amassed all accessible data on the venom ritual and the biochemical attributes of secondary compounds, chronicled in the archaic scripts. Upon exiting the archives, he discerned a divergent path to the palace. "Our destination?" he inquired. Mira remained silent, guiding him through ever-constricting alleyways nestled between sentient edifices. Ultimately, they reached a diminutive portal embedded in the foundation of a lesser palace tower. Catherine's archaic lab merged ritual with medicine. Mira bolted the door, astonishing Cade by finally speaking. "Time is fleeting." Untracked, it was the final royal healer's domain pre-Corrain's reign. "You talk," Cade exclaimed, surprised. "When vital," she replied, activating a panel. "I aided the former monarch, witnessing the previous transition. Corrain's actions are a desecration of our most revered rituals." The 17 healers' demise. Mira verified Corrain is deploying a concoction that guarantees rejection. It compels the venom's complete transfer to the healer, precluding the bond's formation. Death is swift and appears organic. But the gamble. Someone was destined to unveil the princess's scheme, to terminate the civil conflict. Mira articulated her accord would entail disseminating Catherine's medical wisdom to humankind, anathema to traditionalists like Driven and Corrain. They deemed this sacrilege and would murder their princess to stop it, convinced they're shielding the empire from ruin. The venom ritual conveniently obscures matters. If no healer endures the bonding, the throne shifts to Deven Cade. He processed this, pacing his lab. "Why am I alive? Why didn't Corrain's concoction work?" Mira answered, "Human physiology. It's tailored for Catherine's biology. Your system likely adapted, perhaps even countered it. That's precisely why the bond materialized, though its integrity is compromised." Cade observed, "Whenever Tali and I are apart for extended durations, the symptoms resurface. Corrain leverages this to perpetuate their dominance. The bond's culmination necessitates the succession ceremony," Mira asserted. "Until then, it remains susceptible to intervention." Cade contemplated the nanobots currently coursing through Tolri's system, diligently amassing data on the venom and extraneous matter. "I must pinpoint Corrain's precise compound. Should I manage to isolate it and formulate an antidote?" "There exists an alternative," Mira interjected, approaching an antiquated cabinet. She retrieved a tiny vial filled with shimmering ethereal liquid. "This is unadulterated seraphim venom from the last rite of succession. Immaculate. It will fortify the link between you and the princess, bolstering it against Corrain's meddling." Cade gazed at the vial. "That seems like distilled death." "It embodies life and death intertwined," Mira responded. "The core of our regal heritage. Absent it, you both shall perish before the ceremony." A grave ethical quandary gripped Cade. His medical instincts recoiled at introducing an alien substance into a patient or himself. The other option appeared just as bleak. "I need to speak with Tri," he declared. "This impacts us both." "There's no time," Mira urged. "Corrain is growing increasingly wary. He's formulating a more potent solution to sever your connection." I've been watching his progress. Then give me the venom, Cade resolved, coming to a firm decision. But not for direct application. I must analyze it, understand its interaction with the existing nanobots within Tulri's system. Mira paused, then entrusted him with the vial. Use it judiciously, human healer. Our collective destiny hinges on it. Throughout the night, Cade meticulously analyzed the pure venom sample using his portable equipment. The nanobots in Talri's bloodstream relentlessly transmitted data to his pad, confirming his deepest fears. Corain was escalating the doses of a compound engineered to shatter their bond. Yet the data unearthed a revelation that caught Cade off guard. The nanobots weren't merely observing the venom, they were actively engaging with it, amplifying the neural connection between him and Talri. Through this intensified link, he could feel her presence. Even from afar, her thoughts resonated softly at the periphery of his awareness, her emotions seeping subtly into his being. And as he honed in on the unadulterated venom sample, the connection amplified dramatically. Cade, her voice breathed within his mind. I perceive your endeavors. What revelations have you unearthed? Affirmation, he responded wordlessly, still in awe of this unbelievable communion. Corain is systematically poisoning you, and has been doing so to every healer who dared to connect with you. I possess a pure venom sample that may bolster our bond against his machinations. Mira bestowed it upon you. Telri realized she was the Queen's confidant. I intuited she concealed deeper truths. Can we place greater faith in her than others within the palace walls, save possibly Voss? Cade meticulously analyzed the stream of data emanating from the nanobots. The coronation is a fortnight distant, yet at Corinne's present rate of sabotage, our connection will soon dissolve. Therefore, we must expedite our schemes, Talri asserted. The High Council convenes on the morrow, where Corain shall deliver his assessment of my health. This presents an unparalleled moment to act. Act for what? For retribution, she responded, her thoughts sharpening with absolute royal resolve. Procure the unadulterated venom. Tonight in my chambers, we weaponize Corain's venom against him. Our plan, refined through the neural link, gained crystalline clarity. By dawn, Cade had recalibrated the nanobots, forging a system to pinpoint and neutralize Corain's toxins. But this mastery demanded a price. Cade injected a sliver of pure venom into his system. The impact was swift. His perception of Talri exploded. Her thoughts and memories flooded him. Cascading through his awareness like a deluge, he perceived her formative years within the opulent palace, bore the burden of royal expectations, and empathized with her anguish following her parents' demise during the nascent civil war. Moreover, he glimpsed her aspirations for the times ahead, a serene Catherine Empire coexisting harmoniously with its human counterparts, medical expertise shared openly across species, and a cessation of the savage conflict responsible for countless fatalities. Upon entering her chambers that evening, the bond between them was so profound that verbal communication felt superfluous. Captain Voss stood sentinel at the portal, guaranteeing undisturbed privacy. The venoms ingested, Tri observed, noting the subtle bioluminescent glow beneath Cad's skin. A calculated gamble, he responded. The nanobots require calibration to synchronize with our physiologies. She offered her hand. Upon contact, the luminescence between them surged with renewed vigor. I perceive all, she murmured. Your terrestrial existence, your medical studies, the Veskara conflicts, and your strategy for the morrow. Cade affirmed. It carries peril, yet less so than in action. She directed his hand against her breast, where 3 hearts pulsed as one beneath his hand. The nanobots are surging. The bond is fortified now, capable of enduring Corain's disruption for a time, Cade asserted. But the ultimate trial awaits us at the Council Assembly. Talry's visage hardened, unyielding. He extinguished 17 healers. Cade violated his sacred oath and his nation's trust. Justice cries out for a reckoning. Cade amended, sensing her raw emotions resonate with his. There's a distinction, not in Corain's laws. She retorted, the penalty must reflect the atrocity. The unspoken consequence lingered heavily. Conspiring against Corain courted a fatal judgment. Cade's Hippocratic pledge clashed fiercely with his yearning for justice. The slain healers warranted vengeance, and Talry's life lay in perilous balance. The menace persists as long as Corain engages in his machinations. Surely there's a different path, he urged. Talry's hand gently covered his, resting upon her chest. What alternative do you propose, human healer? Through their bond, Cade sensed her sincere receptiveness to options beyond tradition. Despite her royal station and Catherine's legacy of vengeance, she prized his insights. Revelation, not annihilation, he offered. Employ the nanobots to compile undeniable proof of his manipulation. Present it to the High Council, and allow Catherine justice to unfold. Corain would prefer oblivion to such exposure. Humiliation? Talry questioned, unwavering. He won't face it solo. His allegiance to Driven is profound. Then let's brace for that scenario, Cade conceded. However, we don't instigate his demise. That delineates justice from vengeance. Talry weighed this, her reflections cascading through their connection with unvarnished clarity. At last, she acquiesced. We'll attempt your approach, Dr. Ramsey, but be warned. Catherine, politics rarely exhibits the compassion of human healing. The High Council chamber was an immense vault where organic architecture attained its zenith. Colossal, rib-like forms soared above, throbbing with life. Bioluminescence mirrored the collective emotions of the assembly. Council members encircled Princess Talry and her retinue, with Cade standing vigilantly. He felt the stares, a human healer, an enigma, intruding upon sacred Catherinian rites. Corain faced them, flanked by medical personnel, beside Lord Deven, his martial stance highlighting their bond. Respected Council, Corain, his voice resonating through the chamber, announced, I submit my report on the princess's state as the succession ceremony nears. The human's influence has offered short-term stability, yet I harbor grave doubts about the enduring nature of this unique connection. The chief healer projected a holographic readout displaying Tal's vitals. Data Cade instantly perceived as altered. The venom signatures reveal mounting volatility, Corain proceeded. Absent conventional remedies, I cannot assure Her Highness's survival during the ceremony. What specific intervention are you suggesting? Healer Corain inquired of the seasoned advisor. A purification ritual, perhaps? Corain responded, her voice like velvet. A meticulously crafted protocol, derived from age-old scriptures, designed to liberate Her Highness's essence from intrusive energies, paving the way for an immaculate Catherine bond. Talry's hushed voice echoed in Cad's thoughts. He intends to completely eradicate me from your being, effectively ending me. Cade advanced. With your leave, esteemed council. A ripple of astonishment swept the chamber. Humans rarely addressed such high proceedings. The one who mends with a touch seeks to speak, Talri declared. As my chosen healer, he holds this privilege. Hesitant assents from the counselors permitted Cade to proceed. Healer Corain's assessment is flawed, he asserted unequivocally. The princess's condition is demonstrably stable and enhancing. Our connection strengthens with each passing day. Lord Deven retorted, and we should value a human's declaration over our esteemed chief imperial healer? Utterly devoid of our heritage or biology. Not my assertion, Cade retorted, unveiling his holographic projection displaying nanobot-collected data. These are the princess's legitimate vitals, relentlessly and autonomously tracked, independent of the palace network. Corin's gills flared crimson with rage. You risk introducing clandestine surveillance into the royal bloodline. This is sacrilege. Is seeking truth sacrilegious? Cade demanded. Or does sacrilege reside in deliberately poisoning the royal physicians to pervert the lineage? Erupted in astonished gasps, Talri lifted her hand. An immediate hush descended. Grave allegations indeed, Doctor. Ramsay, she stated, adhering to their rehearsed confrontation. Do you possess substantiating evidence? I do. Kate enlarged the holographic display, showcasing molecular structures. This compound has been consistently introduced into the princess's system. It's absent from any recognized medical literature regarding Catherine, yet it flawlessly targets the venom's bonding mechanism. 17 healers perished due to this insidious compound. Corain's composure, utterly disgraced. This impudent human levels baseless charges to conceal his meddling with hallowed customs. Then you'll have no objection to a blood test, Cade challenged, to verify you've never manipulated this compound. The chief healer's delay was short, yet incriminating. Lord Driven strategically interposed himself between Corain and the council. These indictments defile the council chamber, Driven proclaimed. The human obviously attempts to bolster his influence through defamation. Not defamation, a fresh voice asserted. Captain Voss advanced, clutching a data crystal. Evidence. From the doomed 17 families, whose healers perished bonding with the princess, each demise mirrored the same horrifying pattern. Identical traces of this compound. The council chamber's bioluminescence shifted to a profound crimson as raw emotion surged through the assembled officials. This is blatant treason, a senior counselor roared. If validated, test my blood, Kate asserted. Test the princess. Test healer Corthane. Molecular signatures will confirm everything. The outcome lingered precariously. Then Corain acted, a desperate grasp at Talri, fueled by desperation. Injector in hand, he roared, If I fall, the old order crumbles with me. Cade intercepted, swatting the injector away, but not before Corain triggered a concealed beacon. Alarms wailed through the palace. Imperial breach detected, Driven bellowed, brandishing his ceremonial weapon. The human assassinates the chief healer. Guards to me. Bedlam ensued as heavily armed Catherine guards flooded the chamber, paralyzed by conflicting loyalties to Princess Tales and Lord Driven. Amidst the turmoil, Corain reclaimed his injector and viciously plunged it into his own arm, declaring for the genuine empire. He choked, his gaze locked onto Cade, radiating scorching animosity. You've altered absolutely nothing, mortal. The ritual nears. The venom shall consume you both. His physique contorted violently. Bioluminescence ignited, then waned as the toxin took hold. By the time calm returned to the council chamber, Chief Healer Corain lay lifeless, a casualty of his own actions. But the ordeal had only just begun. As Cade surged toward Talris, a chilling realization washed over him. Her chest luminescence was swiftly diminishing. "What's unfolding?" he pressed, his hand instinctively finding hers. Hearts through their bond, he felt her waning consciousness. Corain's ultimate sacrifice, the signal ignited the palace systems, the venom escalating the succession ceremony. Voss understood it's been unleashed prematurely. The age-old rites demand immediate observation, or the princess perishes. Cade sensed it too, the venom coursing in his veins, reacting to a spectral signal, searing through him. With intensified force, their connection faltered, threatening total dissolution. "Then we conduct the ceremony forthwith," he proclaimed. "Here before us." "High Council," an exasperated Lord Deven protested. "The revered grounds require meticulous preparation. The ancestral witnesses a formal summons. Time is fleeting," Kate countered urgently, supporting Talri, whose wavering form betrayed her distress. Through their intertwined bond, Kate sensed Talri's heart fighting to sustain its rhythm. "She will perish long before your antiquated traditions are fulfilled." The chamber was hushed as the assembled officials observed the escalating conflict with both dread and intense curiosity. Never before had the succession ritual been enacted beyond the sacred grounds, nor witnessed by the entire council. "What alternative do you offer, human healer?" The elder counselor, Cade, glanced at Talri, sensing her life fading through their link. In that instant, he resolved, not as a doctor constrained by human ethics, but as a healer connected to his patient by an extraordinary bond he was only beginning to grasp. "The nanobots," he stated. "They're observing the venom, its interactions. If I recalibrate them to intensify the bonding, it's a perilous gamble for both of you." Voss cautioned, "The venom bond wasn't designed to be accelerated. We're already on the brink." Cade indicated that this predicament, at the very least, afforded them an opportunity. Through their tenuous link, he sensed Tal's acquiescence and, underlying it, a profound sense of confidence, not solely in his healing expertise, but in him personally. With unsteady hands, he engaged his device, dispatching revised directives to the nanobots coursing through their respective vascular systems. These minuscule mechanisms would, from this moment forward, proactively enable the venom exchange, as opposed to simply observing it. The consequence was instantaneous and staggering. A vibrant azure radiance ignited at their point of contact, radiating outwards in successive surges. Following the surge of bioluminescence, Cade experienced a sensation of dissolution, his consciousness transcending the limits of his physical being. Talri's recollections became vivid within him, her wisdom coursing through his mind. The neural link, initially a conduit for shared thoughts, evolved into a profoundly intimate union, a true fusion of minds and bodies. The council chamber receded from his perception as the bonding process fully enveloped him. In this elevated state, he grasped Corain's ultimate treachery with stark precision. The chief healer hadn't just expedited the venom's effects, he had subtly corrupted it, introducing a deadly imperfection that would guarantee its failure at the pivotal instant. But the nanobots presented an answer. Informed by Cad's deep medical insight and Talri's profound comprehension of her own biological systems, they initiated a reformation of the venomous links, forging innovative routes for the connection to solidify. Upon Cad's regaining consciousness in the council hall, he remained upright, a hand gently placed on Talri's chest, encompassed by astounded Catherine dignitaries. The bioluminescent radiance that had enveloped them had diminished to a soft, rhythmic pulse. "It is finished," Talri proclaimed, her voice resonating with newfound power. "The bond is sealed, and I ascend to the throne by birthright, with my healer standing beside me." Lord Driven's face twisted in rage. "This sacrilege defiles all sacred customs. The Council bears witness to an extraordinary event." The senior counselor interjected. "Venom has embraced the bond. Who are we to dispute its wisdom?" Driven's hand instinctively went to his weapon. "I dispute it. I challenge it by birthright. I demand trial by combat for the throne." A collective gasp echoed through the assembly. Trial by combat, a venerable Catharinian custom, seldom enacted in these times. "The challenge is embraced," Talri retorted before Cade could protest. "What are you doing?" he questioned through their bond. "Ending this, one way or the other," she responded. Driven's smile turned ferocious. "Choose your champion, cousin, or dare you sacrifice your loyal companion for your own survival?" "I require no proxy," Talri proclaimed. "I shall confront you directly." A collective gasp echoed through the council chambers. An absolute monarch opting for personal trial by combat was unheard of. "Then brace yourself for oblivion," Driven hissed, unsheathing his ornate blade. "And with you, the demise of your utopian dreams of human amity." Weapons materialized, and a combat arena was swiftly formed in the room's heart. Cade detected unwavering resolve surging through their connection, coupled with an intriguing scheme. The nanobots, her, whispers echoed. "They answer us both. Can you command them afar?" "In theory," he conceded, "but how to fend off a blade?" "Await and perceive," the healer responded with regal assurance. "Justice assumes diverse forms." As Talri met her cousin in the arena, Cade knew the cycle of venom and payback neared its close. The ensuing events would shape their destinies and the future of two peoples ensnared in a conflict neither truly yearned for. And in this way, every pulse intensified their venomous connection, a bond eclipsing Corrain's poison, profoundly deeper than foreseen. From a desperate touch within a war-torn clinic, their alliance teetered on the edge of reshaping an entire empire. 4. Empire in Eclipse. The combat circle radiated with bioluminescent glyphs, age-old symbols etched into the council chamber's living floor. Lord Driven loomed over Princess Talri, his martial prowess etched in each deliberate movement as he assessed the heft of his ceremonial blade. Talri stood facing him, appearing delicate in her ceremonial robes, her weapon gripped with the practiced grace of an imperial combatant, yet betraying a lack of real-world battlefield grit. The High Council observed from the galleries, their silence heavy with anticipation. Cade lingered at the ring's edge, combat protocols barring his direct involvement, but their bond remained a vital link. Through their shared mindscape, he gained unparalleled insight into Catherine's calculated approach to ritual combat. First blood establishes authority. Her thoughts resonated, but only a death strike concludes the trial. Still reeling from the venom's rapid spread, he answered softly, "Your third heart is faltering. Rhythm is unstable." "I'm aware," she projected mentally, composed despite the peril. "You're vital now." The ceremonial gong resonated, battle commencing. Deven struck instantly, his blade whistling through the air with deadly grace. Talri dodged, but her lingering fragility slowed her. "The nanobots," she reminded Cade, deflecting another blow. Program them to react to my heart's distress signals. Insight ignited within Cad's mind. Deploying his pad, he dispatched revised commands to the nanobots coursing through their veins. These microscopic marvels would now converge around Talri's hearts during peak exertion, granting fleeting assistance to her faltering organs. The impact, while understated, was instantaneous. Talri's motions gained grace, her reflexes sharpened. She parried Driven's subsequent assault and retaliated with a blow that etched a slender trail of radiant blood from his limb. "First blood to the princess," proclaimed the elder counselor. Driven's features clouded with fury. A mere scratch demonstrates. Relentless, he intensified his attack, forcing Talri back. His raw power was undeniable, each strike pushing her further. "He's hurting you," Cade cautioned. "Outside the circle, you lose." "I know," Talri responded, unwavering. "The nanobots are working. Phase 2 now." She feigned weakness, luring him near the edge as her heel neared the line. The radiant perimeter faltered, and she knelt as if momentarily destabilized, then surged forward with predatory intent, precisely mirroring her mental simulations. In that heartbeat, Talri unleashed an improbable feat, a sinuous pirouette beneath his defenses, culminating in a pinpoint strike to his flank. Cerulean ichor blossomed on his ornate battle dress. "The princess draws second blood," the advisor observed, a note of astonishment lacing his tone. Driven, enraged, jettisoned all restraint, opting for raw aggression. His sword descended in a devastating cleave, poised to sunder Talri in two. Shoulder to hip, she intercepted the strike with her weapon, yet the force slammed her to her knees. Through their bond, Cade sensed the immense pressure on her hearts, the tertiary organ nearing collapse. "Now," she urged. Cade initiated the ultimate nanobot protocol, a measure they'd prepared but desperately hoped to avoid. The machine surged toward Toller's 3 hearts, erecting fleeting structures to bolster the faltering chambers. Simultaneously, they unleashed a compound extracted from the pure venom sample, sparking a regulated bioluminescent cascade. Exploded forth from Talri's chest, surging outward in vibrant waves that briefly rendered everyone in the chamber sightless. When vision cleared, she stood majestic, her form radiating the cerulean luminescence of pure, royal venom. "What vile betrayal is this?" Driven questioned, instinctively shielding his eyes. "No betrayal here," Talri responded, her voice amplified by the potent energy now flowing through her. "The venom answers only to true sovereignty. This, cousin, is the undeniable will of our ancestors." At that instant, she transcended her role as a mere princess vying for her throne. She became the vibrant essence of Catherine lineage, the corporeal representation of imperial power. A flicker of doubt, a momentary wavering, displaced Driven's usual assurance. That fractional hesitation was all Talri required. Her blade, moving with uncanny swiftness, etched a luminous azure design in the air, culminating at Driven's throat. A crimson trickle welled, marking the 3rd offering of blood to the princess. The counselor proclaimed, "The duel is concluded." In Catherine's age-old tradition of combat, the victor held dominion over the vanquished's fate. Cade keenly sensed Toller's deliberation on this path coursing through their bond, the chilling assessment of a ruler balancing righteousness with compassion. "I grant you clemency, cousin," she pronounced at last, "not from any failing, but because our empire has suffered ample bloodshed. Your martial acumen will prove more valuable to us in times of tranquility than your demise would in vengeance." Driven's face twisted in a tempest of conflicting feelings. Mortification, fury, and, buried deep, a glimmer of understanding. With hesitant grace, he knelt, head bowed. The trial concluded. "The challenge is met. The throne is yours, Empress Talri." A wave of whispers swept through the assembled council. Surpassing the venom bond and triumphing in the challenge, Talri had not just inherited the right to rule, but seized the mantle of Empress, surpassing the role of Princess Regent, as tradition dictated. As the combat's ceremonial end began, Cade tracked the nanobot's performance in Talri's system. The artificial supports would disintegrate in mere hours, yet her hearts were already growing stronger, evolving to the new demands. "Flawless venom symbiosis. Exquisite work, Doctor," she murmured, her thoughts echoing in his mind. "You've rescued me, once more." "We salvaged each other," he countered gently. "The bond is reciprocal." Indeed, through their profound link, he sensed the subtle yet significant transformations within his own being, courtesy of the venom. Amplified fortitude, expedited regeneration, and most crucially, an unwavering empathy for Talri's physical and emotional landscape. The High Council formally ratified Tal's rise to power, each dignitary stepping forward to offer fealty to the newly crowned Empress. Lord Driven was allowed to depart with his dignity preserved, albeit under the vigilant gaze of Captain Voss's sentinels. As the ceremony drew to a close, Talri addressed the council, proclaiming, "The Civil War's chapter ends today. My foremost action as Empress will be to offer lasting peace to the human systems. And secondly," she stated, turning towards Cade and extending her hand, "to appoint Dr. Cade Ramsey as Imperial Healer Ambassador, a groundbreaking position bridging our species." Cade advanced, accepting her hand. A radiant bioluminescence ignited between them, irrefutable evidence of their profound connection. "The healer of the touch," the council members whispered, their respect now profound. "The one who has touched the Empress's heart." Talri. In the ensuing days, a subtle smile graced her lips as the palace morphed from a hotbed of secrets into a vibrant diplomatic epicenter. Human envoys arrived, tentatively hopeful for peace after devastating wars. Catherine's military leaders, fiercely loyal for so long, slowly embraced Tal's reign as her public appeal surged. Cade uniquely found himself both the alien Empress's confidant and his people's ambassador, a challenging yet vital role. Exasperating yet captivating, the Venom partnership dynamically progressed. Empowering rapid information. Sharing irrespective of location for him. Cade uncovered Catherine's civilization on a level no person ever attained. The delicate equilibrium of their construction, the ornate dance of radiant language that colored their words, the profound respect for life. Essence permeating all corners of their communities. And Talri likewise gained understanding into human resilience, resourceful intellect, and medicinal advancements. Cade's profound memories and comprehensive knowledge equipped her with an unprecedented understanding of humanity, unmatched by any previous Catherine sovereign. One serene evening, as they graced a palace balcony with a breathtaking view of the radiant city below, Talri articulated a thought that had been subtly weaving its way into both their consciousnesses. The Venom bond was never solely focused on selecting a healer with mere compatibility. She paused, then elaborated. Its true purpose was to guarantee the sovereign possesses an empathetic comprehension of perspectives diverging from their own. For countless ages, that implied other Catherine viewpoints. However now, Its significance lies in forging an essential bridge between species. Cade decisively concluded, solidifying the weight of their shared revelation. Pinpointing the exact locus of the discord, she pivoted, her bioluminescent skin shimmering with raw sentiment. 17 healers perished, Cade. Their noble sacrifice must not be in vain. It won't be, he pledged. The peace accords are advancing. Medical collaborations are forming. Your aspiration is materializing. He sensed her gratification intertwined with lingering unease. Devin remains unnervingly silent. His adherents haven't forsaken their archaic dogmas. They are simply biding their time. Cade concurred, observing, poised to determine if a bond phrase when peace falters. We must fortify it. Her resolve surged, amplified by the venomous link. The succession is sealed, yet our true labor commences. A messenger materialized. Empress, the human medical delegation has arrived, awaiting your audience in the Grand Hall. Tal reaffirmed, we shall attend them shortly. Turning to Cade, she inquired, ready, Ambassador? Your peers may not fully grasp your transformation. He chuckled gently. I'm intrinsically linked to an alien empress via venomous bioluminescence, enabling shared consciousness. They likely won't grasp its intricacies, yet understanding isn't crucial to reap the rewards of our collaboration. They proceeded to the Grand Hall, where Earth's top medical institutions representatives anxiously awaited introductions, as Cade facilitated introductions. Talri's mental presence offered invaluable insights, subtly minimizing the cultural gap as the human delegates presented advanced medical technology, vital research data, and notably, a groundbreaking prototype device. Designed to decode Catherine's radiant expressions into terms humanity can grasp, this is merely the dawn, Cade declared as the reception waned. The Empress foresees a world where medical insight transcends species. Catherine's biological prowess enriches human tech advancements, and needless conflict never claims another life, Talri amplified, her translator flawlessly conveying her vibrant emphasis. Later, reflecting on the day, Cade sensed a faint alteration in Tal's emotional fabric through their connection. A fleeting moment, a moment of doubt. A subtle hint of remorse surfaced. What is it? He pressed. She locked eyes with him, her voice firm. There are crucial aspects of the venom ritual I've withheld, secrets even Corain remained ignorant of. I'm all ears. The 17 healers who perished. She hesitated, carefully composing her thoughts. Their ultimate sacrifice was integral to a grander design, a trial by fire, a test designed to identify the true healer, the individual whose empathy and expertise surpassed all species. Her gaze intensified. The venom ritual has consistently represented something far greater than a mere medical treatment or a simple inheritance. It is, in essence, an evaluation process, a crucible designed to discern the ultimate. The sovereign's most esteemed advisor and confidant, realizing dawn gradually. You're suggesting the ritual aimed to discover a consort, in essence? Precisely, a human counterpart. Her skin's bioluminescence vibrated intensely, mirroring emotions. The healer bonding with the sovereign transcends mere medical care. They ascend to become a true partner to the throne. Cade assimilated this profound truth, feeling its implications surge through their shared awareness. Corin suspected this much, grasping fragments of it, yet the complete truth remains exclusive to the royal lineage. She advanced, revealing the 17 who perished were not simply unsuitable healers, Cade. These candidates faltered, their temperament and core character deemed insufficient by the Venom's assessment. I unknowingly aced this unspoken trial, he noted with a hint of wry amusement. During the onslaught, you instinctively shielded me, disregarding your own well-being, she pointed out. You championed my life amidst treacherous courtly schemes and customs. Time and again, you prioritized fairness over retribution when dealing with Corraine. Ultimately, your deeds substantiated what the Venom intuited from the start, that you were destined to lead. Beside me, the gravity of this disclosure descended upon them. Cade sensed the raw truth of her assertion and its implications for their future through their connection. So I'm more than just your healer or ambassador, he murmured thoughtfully. According to Catherine tradition, I am intrinsically yours, she finalized plainly, as you are unequivocally mine. The bond renders us extensions of one another in healing, diplomacy, and governance. This notion, while inherently foreign and unsettling, felt through the Venom bond, like acknowledging an underlying truth that had been surfacing since that initial, desperate moment. Touch in a war-torn clinic. Did you orchestrate this? He inquired, not with accusation, but with palpable curiosity. Was I destined before my arrival at that clinic? Talri's demeanor mellowed, almost unconsciously, as the Venom ritual invariably possessed an element of cosmic harmony, the ideal healer materializing when the Sovereign faced their paramount need. Your humanity was exceptional, an anomaly, yet potentially unavoidable, given my vision for our shared destiny. Cade contemplated this, sensing her complete transparency and readiness to embrace his response through their connection. Whatever the implications, when you declared, "Now she's mine," post-combat, I embraced its full meaning within our traditions. She understands the healer serves the Sovereign serves the Empire. We're interconnected, devoted to a cause transcending ourselves. That's quite a bit to absorb, Kate confessed. Time is on our side, Tull reassured. The bond is unbreakable, but its boundaries? Those we will sculpt together. As they stood silhouetted against the Catherine capital's radiant twilight, the bioluminescence shimmered, beating in perfect cadence, synchronized with their very souls. Cade understood his existence had undergone a seismic shift the instant his hand met her chest. From battlefield medic to imperial consort, an odyssey beyond wildest dreams. Yet bound together, he felt not a trace of remorse, only an intensifying conviction that whatever trials awaited, they'd confront them as one. Healer and Sovereign, human and Catherine, joined by a touch that had miraculously transcended dimensions. At the Empire's core, dawn broke. The Catherine capital shimmered with bioluminescent waves, structures and spans gently glowing as the planet's fainter sun ascended. Cad, at his Imperial Wing window, observed the city's reawakening. 3 months marked Toll's rise and their bond's fulfillment, a period of vital diplomacy, medical innovations, and the delicate, at times arduous, task of concluding a years-long conflict. The Venom bond had evolved into a phenomenon both extraordinary and commonplace, its essence constant. Tolri's thoughts and emotions had receded into a subtle undercurrent, akin to a second heartbeat resonating softly beside his own. He could bring them into sharp focus at will, or allow them to dissolve into the depths of his subconscious, granting a semblance of solitude. Solitude, a notion fundamentally reshaped for both of them. Bonded pairs held no secrets, a truth demanding significant adaptation. Cad's human understanding of mental privacy had initially collided head-on with Catherine's tradition of utter transparency. They had painstakingly forged a harmonious equilibrium, learning to honor the line between perception and imposition. A subtle ripple in their connection signaled Tolri's arrival even before she graced the chamber. As Empress, she usually navigated the palace accompanied by a retinue of advisors and protectors. Yet in these nascent hours, she frequently pursued moments of privacy with her healer companion. The human representatives are apprehensive about today's proceedings, she remarked directly, stepping to his side near the window. Cade concurred, finalizing a peace accord with a foreign civilization whose very essence remains a mystery. Their trepidation is understandable. Comprehend our perspective, she emphasized, fostering assurance. I comprehend you, he amended. One Catherine existed, uniquely because their consciousnesses intertwined through their bond. He sensed her mirth and gratitude for his modesty, the very trait, she'd confided, rendering him a fitting consort, where 17 others faltered. Hubris and arrogance were antithetical to the bond's essence. The royal healer demanded a disposition to counsel judiciously, to guide without domination. The High Council session commences imminently, Talri stated. Lord Devenne awaits. Requested leave to speak before the treaty signing, Cade grimaced that spells trouble to be sure, but refusing him would only reinforce the old guard's claim that I stifled dissent. She pivoted to face him squarely. I need you at my side today, not only as ambassador, but as my bonded healer. Whatever unforeseen challenges we encounter, we'll face them as one always, he affirmed. His words resonated with the depth of their enduring bond. The High Council chamber was now a spectacle for the historic. Signing the combat arena, where Talri had bested Devenne, was now the central signing arena, encircled by tiered seating for Catherine counselors and human diplomats. Bioluminescent displays vividly portrayed the treaty terms in both languages, text cascading like ethereal water across lucid surfaces. Cade assumed his station adjacent to Tel's throne, his role as imperial healer and ambassador officially consecrated with ceremonial robes mirroring Catherine aesthetics while retaining human nuances. Captain Voss stood steadfastly nearby, his allegiance to the Empress absolute following her triumph. The human delegation. As Admiral Chen, Earth's foremost envoy for interstellar relations, entered, Cade observed. Despite weeks of treaty negotiations, engaging with humans as a Catherine throne representative felt surreal. The Venom bond revealed Talri's awareness and acceptance of his divided loyalties, vital for their mission. Lord Driven's arrival, still military but humbled, marked the final presence. He approached, bowing with crisp formality to the Empress. Respected counselors, esteemed human guests, he commenced, his voice resonating with the unmistakable harmonic richness characteristic of the Cathene elite. Before pledging our empire to this momentous accord, I beseech the privilege of conducting the ancestral consultation ritual. A wave of hushed whispers rippled through the Cathene delegation. Cade sensed Talri's palpable apprehension through their bond. The ritual would postpone the signing, her thoughts conveyed. It calls upon archaic rulings that might jeopardize the treaty's validity. Can you decline? He inquired silently. Not easily. Unafraid of ancestral repercussions, it's an ingenious snare. Permitted, Talri conveyed to her cousin, exuding regal poise. The privilege is bestowed, Lord Devenne. Let the forebears guide your voice. Devin stepped into the circle's heart, retrieving a vial from his raiment. The fluid throbbed with the blue glow of seraphim toxin. "What's he planning?" Cade inquired telepathically. "That venom is for royals only," Talri responded, her tone anxious. "It's a weakened version, for specific rites, yet its existence here is electrifying." Devin hoisted the vial, declaring, "I summon the echoes of past sovereigns to illuminate our path in this critical evolution." He drained the liquid, instantly radiating a gentle internal light, his eyes blazing with venomous intensity. His altered voice resonated with uncanny harmonies. "Our predecessors challenge Empress Talri's chosen course." Unveils an unprecedented shift as she allies not with a local healer, but a celestial entity. Unveils hallowed wisdom to foreign eyes and reimagines an empire without counsel from its architects. The human delegation stirred uneasily, sensing the ritual's confrontational edge, though veiled in mystery. Admiral Chen sought direction from Cade, who remained steadfast, channeling Talri's conviction. This embodied Catherine politics at its most intricate, tradition transformed into a potent weapon. Progress. The ancestors demand answers. Driven persisted, his form radiating heightened brilliance. By what prerogative does the Empress dismantle millennia of Catherine heritage? By what power does she chain our fate to humankind's? The challenge resonated, its gravity palpable. Driven had skillfully questioned Talri's reign without outright rebellion. Talri ascended from her throne, her bioluminescence intensifying. "I shall address the ancestors," she proclaimed, entering the circle facing Driven. Cade felt a jolt of anticipation. Through their symbiotic link, a forceful tugging occurred, like the venomous connection was strained beyond its capacity. "He's weaponizing a venom derivative to sever our bond," Talri projected urgently. "Join me in the circle, quickly!" Cade reacted instantly, entering the ritual space beside her. Immediately their bond solidified, their shared bioluminescence forming a stark opposition to Driven's primal exhibition. "I reforged the Empire through the power of the venomous bond," Talri proclaimed, her voice resonating with harmonic authority. Resonance as Driven's, yet commanding greater influence. The forebears designated this human as my rejuvenator after 17 Catherine aspirants proved inadequate. The venom itself, our most revered link to those who reigned prior, engendered this unparalleled connection. She grasped Cad's hand, and their unified radiance magnified. "I tether our destiny to humankind, not from frailty, but from sagacity." The progenitors understood that seclusion begets decay. Why else would they sanction a human to consummate the bond that no Catherine could endure through their connection? Cade perceived she was leveraging his medical expertise, his grasp of human physiology and societal norms. Her subsequent words resonated with their combined insights. The venom ritual's purpose is to guarantee the sovereign possesses a counterweight, a medicus whose viewpoint enhances, even questions, royal power. Unprecedentedly, this perspective emanates from beyond our terrestrial sphere. This isn't a weakening of Catherine's heritage, it's its magnificent realization. The assembly hall fell into profound silence. Silently, Catherine and the humans were captivated by the clash. Even Driven appeared momentarily speechless. The ancestral voices he commanded faded into stillness. Within that quietude, Cade perceived a subtle yet potent shift in their connection. A consolidation as the venom answered Talri's assertion. Knowledge surged between them with newfound ease. Catherine, histories, and traditions interwoven with human medical ingenuity and strategic protocols. "The ancestors acknowledge your petition," Driven finally replied, his tone diminished. "However, they demand validation. Demonstrate." "This profound human connection fortifies, not diminishes, our cherished traditions." Telri offered a subtle smile, its bioluminescent nuances apparent only to Catherine. "The evidence is undeniable, cousin. You channel ancestors artificially. I embody their wisdom through the very bond you challenge." Releasing Cad's hand, she advanced. "Your ritual provides fleeting access to ancestral memories, but the symbiotic link with my healer makes that connection perpetual and vibrant." With purposeful grace, she placed her hand on Driven's chest, precisely over his primary heart, her touch imbued with the potent essence of their connection, and Driven inhaled sharply as the bond momentarily broadened to encompass Cade. "Perceive the truth," Talri urged. "Sense what our forebears forged through our union." For a fleeting, awe-inspiring instant, the trio stood linked: Empress, human healer, and traditionalist challenger, unified by the Venom's radiant network. Through their shared bond, Cade sensed Driven's astonishment as he fully grasped the reality of the connection between human and Catherine. When Talri released her hold, Driven back, reeling, the false ancestral link noticeably dissolving from within him. "The ancestors," he started, then paused. The ancestors affirmed the bond's authenticity. This acknowledgement visibly strained him, yet the ritual permitted no falsehoods. His experience through Talri's touch quelled even his most stubborn resistance. "Then let's advance with the future they've enabled us to build," Talri proclaimed, addressing the human delegation. "Admiral Chen, the treaty now awaits our signatures." The signing ceremony then recommenced following that succinct, yet intense, standoff. This pivotal moment gained gravitas as human and Talri delegates cemented the peace, concluding years of strife. Cade experienced profound fulfillment coursing through their connection. "He won't dare challenge you again," Cade affirmed silently. "No," Talri agreed. "What he perceived through our shared link was far more impactful than any military setback. He grasped the intrinsic validity of our union and the unwavering course we've embraced." Later, as festivities engulfed the capital, Cade and Talri sought solace in the serene Imperial Gardens, a vibrant ecosystem where flora thrived, reacted to inner feelings through minute shifts in glow and shape. "You omitted the Venom link could extend to others," Cade remarked, strolling past blossoms that flourished as they neared. "I was unaware of it." Talri confessed old writings hint at such potentials, yet deemed them symbolic, not factual. "Our connection persists in amazing, even me that appears to be its essence," Cade mused perpetually. "Morphing, embracing difficulties like top-tier diplomatic ties," she commented playfully. "The most potent medical treatments paused by a pool where radiant, Earth-like fish danced in intricate rhythms, mirroring their shared bioluminescence." "The human delegation departs tomorrow," Telri announced. "They'll carry news of our pact and your singular role here back to Earth." Kate conceded. They struggled to grasp it. "Indeed," she mused. "Even I, immersed in this reality, grapple with its depths." He sensed her reflective thoughts through their profound bond. The destiny of a civilization rested precariously on their singular bond. "All that counts is its efficacy," she declared at last. The Venom made the perfect choice. 17 Medicis faltered, Unable to reconcile the chasm between antiquity and advancement, your triumph stems from perceiving them as complementary. I prevailed through unwavering dedication to a patient amidst an onslaught, Cade. Gently refined, Riley, every subsequent action was spontaneous. Her joyous mirth resonated through their psychic link before audibly manifesting. Perhaps the ultimate takeaway from our saga is that the most momentous transformations often embark on the most fundamental acts: a healer's gentle touch, a fleeting moment of genuine compassion, and the conscious decision to perceive beyond superficial disparities. As dusk settled upon the gleaming Catherine capital, the city's ethereal bioluminescence intensified, buildings and bridges pulsating with vibrant, living light, mirroring the burgeoning harmony that was steadily eclipsing years of strife. Within the serene imperial gardens, Empress Talri and her human healer consort stood together, their singular connection a vibrant testament to the extraordinary potential unleashed when venerable traditions welcome novel horizons. The venom coursing through their blood, formerly a weapon of inheritance and occasional demise, transformed into the bedrock of an unprecedented interdimensional link. 17 healers faltered, Talri reflected, reciting the near-legendary words of Catherine's culture. Then arrived the singular individual who triumphed merely by physical contact with my core. Forever entwined, Cade affirmed, his words resonating with the profound tapestry of their connection. Professional dedication, diplomatic imperative, personal affinity, and an ineffable bond that defied definition. Eternally yours, she echoed, the bioluminescent aura between them throbbing in flawless unison, heart and soul, rescuer and rescued, united in service to a purpose far exceeding their own. Overhead, the vanguard of vessels carrying tidings of the peace accord ascended towards Earth, their lights etching nascent roots across the twilight expanse. Roots that originated with a fleeting caress in a war-torn sanctuary, and now stretched towards a shared destiny beyond the stars. Could scarcely fathom that the Empire's very essence pulsed not solely within Toll's trilocular heart or Cad's mortal one, but also in the venomous symbiosis binding them, a radiant conduit between realms once fractured by conflict, now forged in the most improbable armistice. Throughout the palace, the city, and the Empire, the delicate luminescence of this peace unfurled like ripples across still water, a cerulean and ivory effulgence that had germinated from 17 setbacks, culminating in a solitary, transformative, healing touch.